mean, it wasn't romantic or anything, but I guess I made that much of an impact that somehow, some way, he got into my Facebook.
Absolutely.
And I'm just like, that's cool.
That's what I'm saying. You know, there are those people are out there, but you just have to touch them in different types of ways. You know, I tons of times I post things and like, you know, film related, and sometimes those who really enjoy the films will post it. Sometimes my good friends will post it to support, but a lot of times people don't.
Right.
You know, it's the way it is.
Yeah.
And you got to ask people to do things a lot of the times, or like again, a lot of times people don't know how to do certain things, and so I have to explain them how to do certain type of things. But again, like, you know, it's just the way it is. But so like jumping back. Like, so like there's that film, there's the, you know, I wanted to show people, because I feel like even with my new, because I updated my logo, and like I'm gonna have a sticker for that and a new opening sequence for it.
Update to t-shirts.
The t-shirts. Oh,
I
yeah,
love
yeah.
T-shirts.
You know, I want a
merchandise.
t-shirt. I do want a t-shirt at some point. I actually do want a hat as well.
I have a friend that does merch, by the way.
Yeah, my brother does too.
Oh, so, he does.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I should link up with you and.
Yeah, yeah. He don't live here anymore. He's out of state, but like he does stuff. But that is something at some point I want to do. But like I wanted to have that stuff before I do it. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, I totally agree. I really want a hat. I was thinking about that on the way here too. I was like, ooh, like the different like styles.
I have had beanies. I've had hats. I give them all away. I was like, I'm not gonna make any fucking money off this.
You know, I think about that too.
Yeah.
But like again, like stepping back and going back to like the premiere. That's something I wanted to do. For a while, I was shooting for the cannabis industry, and I was shooting.
You had a sick hat, so I remember you talking about
I got
that.
that from that was given to me from one of the big events that I did. It was California, just #1 cannabis show, and it had just last year for the first time been opened up to the public. So a lot of times it was just the professionals in that industry, private parties, private showings and tastings. So they opened it up to the public last year for the first time. The Emerald Cup. Shout out to the Emerald Cup. Phenomenal. If you're a cannabis lover, it's a good time.
So does that mean you smoke weed?
I do. I mean, I feel like it's no secret. Because I was on a podcast for a long time where I was the host, and we smoked all the time. But like, yeah, you know. You know, it's opened a few doors. I got to do quite a big. I never thought weed would open so many doors for me, and it has. I got to go to London for work. I got to go to Pakistan for work.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah, I was gonna go to Africa at one point, which is still on my to-do list. But you know, like but like again, like community, and you know, you. There's a lot of people in the film that I have met that are about that, and there's a lot of people who I think wish to be a part of that. But there's not many who want to make that. And so like when I wanted to do my own, you know, premiere and thing, I was thinking about those kind of things, like how do you bring people together? And that's when I go to mixers, that's my biggest thing, is I'm trying to meet people and come together and build something, a society, you know, group.
You know, we're doing that right now.
Yeah, we absolutely are. We absolutely are. But like again, like when I have that premiere, like I was like, I could probably reach out to some of my, you know, friends that I made in the cannabis industry who have their own businesses, come and sell some stuff at this event, make some money, you know. Could help with one of the projects that I'm coming up in the future, you know. And there's different things. You just gotta have the mindset.
That
to
makes
think
me
about
really
that.
excited.
And thank you. I'm excited. You know, I've been putting away money on my own pocket to make it happen. But again, like it's a work in progress. I mean, I'm trying to tap into crowdfunding and things like that to kind of get more projects off the ground, because, you know, in this line of work, it's really hard to get things off the ground.
We need a team, though.
You do.
We need a
you know,
team.
and that's the thing. Like, you know, money is a big part of things.
Yeah.
People want to get paid, you know, and it's very rare that you find people
Well, it's not because they want to get paid.
Well,
is that the economy sucks,
yes,
dude,
but,
and
you know,
nothing.
The economy sucks, but at the end of the job, like, you know, some of these, you know, so you got people who are in it for the passion, and you have people who are in it for the business, and you don't have to understand that, and you know, you got to be able to see both sides.
It's really hard for me because filmmaking's my life. It's not even about business anymore. It's not even about my passion. It's all I got left.
And you know, I understand that it's an admirable thing. At times though, you got to be able to separate,
Right.
business from
That's
personal.
that's
and
what
you have to
always has
understand
kicked
that.
me in the ass.
You gotta have that fine line, and so I
Yeah.
totally get that. Because again, I've worked with people who I am friends with, and I'm just like, some people I'm really good friends with, but maybe they didn't do the greatest job on set.
Right.
And so, I'd love to help you out, but I don't know if I'd have you take on specific roles in the future, and
Right.
things like that. But it's, again, learn in progress. But yeah, because have you ever seen The Disaster Artist? You know what I'm talking about?
For
No?
this sake, yes, I
I
have.
feel like you're lying to me. Okay, do you know The Room?
The what?
Do you know about the movie The Room? No? Okay, you got homework to do.
I'm
But
sorry.
so James Franco and his brother Dave Franco starred in The Disaster Artist, which is about the making of a movie
Okay.
called The Room. And The Room is a real movie that it has a cult following. It's known for being one of the worst movies ever made.
Oh, really?
But it has
Okay.
a crazy story. So The Disaster Artist is a movie that is about the making of that movie. And I had no idea when I went into it. But there is a specific scene that happens at the end, and where they make this movie and they have a premiere for it. And it's so funny because I want to do this at my own premiere.
Yeah.
It's like I have to do it at some point. So in high school, I never got to get a limo. Right, I never got
For
to
your
take
prom or whatever?
anything like that.
Yeah.
We never got to do none of that. So I've always wanted to take a limo to something. So it's like take a limo to your own premiere. Why not, right?
Yeah.
But what I want to do, and it's just funny because people who know me, I'm a prankster. I like
Yeah.
jokes and
Yeah.
I like laughing. But I wanted to pull up and have everyone see me, right? Roll down the window so everyone sees me looking out at them and tell my driver just go, do another loop. Come back around and be like, what? And then I'm purposely
You gotta come back.
purposely make sure everyone sees me and then see me drive off. So everyone's like, what is happening? And when I come back around and I come out like, oh, sorry everyone, traffic was crazy.
You are so extra. That's why we get along so well.
So,
I would. pull that kind of
you gotta
shit.
have fun with things like
Yeah,
that.
of course.
So, but yeah. So,
But when are you looking to do that?
do the premiere? So
if that
again,
were to
there's a
happen?
couple projects I want to have happen this year. Maybe it'll happen at the end of this year. Maybe it'll be the beginning of next year. I'm not sure, but that's the goal. I want to do a Dance of Embers. I would like to do at least maybe 1 to 2 more after that to have, and then boom, those be the films that we're showing. I could add Scarred and Midnight Bite, show all that. But the goal eventually is I'm currently working on my first feature that I want to make happen, and the goal is to reach out to some of the friends I've made in the cannabis industry to help fund it and promote it using some of their merchandise, because it is a cannabis film.
Okay.
But it is a film, it's called Hotbox.
Hotbox.
And it is about, it's funny, yeah, it's a great title, but it is about a young man who discovers he is about to, ironically on his birthday, that he's about to become a father. But he has no idea what that is because he grew up without his father. So he actually inherits his dad's old muscle car, and when he gets it working and he hotboxes it, he is actually able to relive past experiences in the car.
Oh shit!
So he gets to see
okay.
things from his dad's perspective. In a way, he gets to kind of
like
meet his dad.
flashbacks or
Kind of. It's very particular how we're doing things with it. But what the idea is that we're gonna shoot. At some point, my goal is to shoot 2 scenes that I think they're gonna sell the idea of the film, and then have that up for on a crowdfunding page for the next couple of years to get that going. And then because I feel like this is gonna be a really big project, and there's a lot of strengths that can come from it. So I'm very excited.
The safest would probably GoFundMe, because I think you could have that on for ever.
I
The
think
the other
there are a
ones.
couple little things with because there's 8 different websites you can
Right.
use.
The other
and
ones
some
are
of them have restrictions and things and rules. So some if you don't make your certain amount,
Right.
you don't get to keep it.
Right.
So there, there's a lot of, you got to kind of pick and choose which one you go with. But I think you have to be really good at marketing, or you got to be really good at. I think it's consistency with sharing it and getting it out there. So those are the goals.
Somebody was telling me about email list, or a list of all the people you work with in the past.
Yes.
Either personal or professional, and I'm like, why haven't I done that?
And even on Facebook, Facebook groups.
Yeah, stuff.
I'm
like
on
that.
quite a few that I've posted. It's funny when I did Midnight Bite. I joined a lot of werewolf groups or cryptid groups, posted it there, and it got a lot of followers from that because it's you gotta shoot towards the audience you're seeking, and and like I feel like it's easier when it's a specific genre or a specific topic or things like that. But it all depends on the project and the people you're trying to reach.
Right.
And so yeah, that's just the struggle of being a filmmaker, but it's also the beauty of it because it gets to introduce you to quite a variety of people. That's why I like horror so much. And like so with my logo, I revamped it because I personally felt like it seemed to me very actiony. Like the font style and whatnot, and I felt like for me, because I want to evolve and have a wide variety of style of films, that I needed something that represented that, which is why I have my new logo, and that's why I'm stepping away from horror films because I don't want to be seen as specifically the horror guy, know, and so like I want to be able to show that I'm capable of doing different types of things. I can touch these different emotions and show it and have other people be able to feel it, and so like that's to me is like my next challenge as a filmmaker. So,
branching out, different genres, showing that you're not just a horror director but an artist.
But you know what though, I have so much love for the horror community. I've gotten to travel so much. I've got to go to Austin, Florida. I did not go to Atlanta personally, but my film got into a festival there. I was in Pakistan at the time, so I could attend it.
How was Pakistan?
It was truly something.
Yeah.
I will never forget that trip. I got to do so much.
Yeah.
I got to do so much. A lot of things that I think most people won't ever
give me
get to.
Like the best memory you had of Pakistan.
There are so many things that happened. I'm still working on that documentary that we did. But I can tell you a couple different things that happened that I will always love and remember. So I came back with some sapphires and emeralds and things because all of like the uncut gems that are out there in the hills and stuff. So I did not come back with a ruby, which is what I really wanted, but I came back with quite a few different like gemstones,
rocks and stuff.
And so I also got to ride a camel. I got to smoke a joint while I was riding a camel.
Nice.
I felt like a prince.
A picture? You have a picture of that?
I'm sure I do somewhere. But I also got to go to the world's coldest desert. And I got to...
The world's coldest
desert. It was really cool. It was right along the Indus River, which is one of 4 big rivers in Pakistan because they all connect. And that was really something. We had a landslide happen on us, like literally right in front of us one night while we were driving. Like we could have died. That was crazy.
A landslide, is that when like?
That's when the hill comes down and and comes down.
Okay.
And so it was crazy. And these are narrow roads and there are no lights. There's no lights. It's darkness. And so like when we came up to the landslide, there were 4 cars in front of us, and it was a bunch of just locals who were working together to move the rock and sand out of the path. And I remember we got out because we had like 5 SUVs. We had there was a team of 20 of us 20 people that were escorting my group through Pakistan. And we had military people. We had some people had AKs and things like that, which was cool. It was great. I was like, damn, I feel like a celebrity. But we were not allowed to get out. Well, we got out, but we were not allowed to get close to the landslide because we were deemed internationals, and Pakistan was keeping track of where we were, because if something happened to us, it makes Pakistan look a type of way. So they were very big. Every checkpoint we went to, they were keeping track of how many of us there were and where we were.
Oh God, sounds kind of.
It was a lot. No, actually, I actually thought it was really
safe,
and it gave us peace of mind that we were being looked after.
Gotcha.
But there was this big boulder that was on the side of the road, and I remember we were watching it, and they're like, we have to keep an eye on that, because if that comes down, there's whoever's under it is dead, but there's also like a possibility we won't be able to get through this road. So like, they were there for like an hour or so. Like the team was working to try to get the road cleared so we can get cars across and whatnot. And like, but that was one of the scariest moments, but that's a moment I'll never forget. One of the other things is that I personally am the only international person to had walked on a glacier while we were there. So we got to a part, I think it was Gilgit, and it was a specific location we were going to do stuff, and there was a lot of gemstones there, but it was a huge, beautiful chasm that was a glacier, and it was right next to I think the Hindu mountain range is where we were, but the owner or the guy who orchestrated the whole expedition, this was on his bucket list to do. So while we had keep in mind, we had all just eaten, people were tired, hungry, or not hungry, but they were full, and so they were tired. And so he's like, well, you guys rest up. This is something I wanted to do. Like, I'm going to venture down. And it was a steep hill. Like, it took 30 minutes to get down, and it was a bitch to get back up.
Yeah.
But I was like, you know what? Like, we're only here in Pakistan once. Like, I want to go and do everything that I can and be as adventurous to the best of my ability, even if I regret it.
YOLO.
So exactly, real honestly, and I was the only international to go down with them and like go down there, and it was one of the most like biggest highlights of my trip there, because we were on this glacier, and it's a frozen river at this, and it looked like something out of Game of Thrones. Like if you've seen Game of Thrones, the landscape, the like where the Starks are in Winterfell with all the snow, it is beautiful. Something, or if you're not into Game of Thrones, it looks like something out of Lord of the Rings, like the mountains, those snow. It was beautiful.
Something out of a movie.
Yes, it really was. The way that the sun hit over the horizon, it looked spectacular. But by a certain time, we had to get back up, because when it got dark, it was dark. It was pitch black. There was no lights, no light pollution. So like you could see the stars and everything. I saw 12 shooting stars in
Holy
like
shit.
15
Did you make
minutes.
a wish at least on one?
Oh, I did every single one. I literally sat on my back on the sands, and I was literally like counting and wishing. It was so beautiful. I wish my cameras were able to pick it up as well, but it was really a breathtaking.
What kind of cameras do you have, actually?
I have 3 Sony AX53s, which is what I use for most of my filming. And then I have now an AS7 II, which is what I have been doing more things with. But those are the 2 cameras that I have at the moment. Yeah, Sony's.
I got an FX30.
Yeah, I've worked with
being
those.
Shot right now.
Yep.
Didn't impress my crew at all. The FX3 though is a nightmare to work with. It overheats.
Yes, it
too
does.
easily.
It does. We've used it a couple times for some of our other projects that we've worked on in the past with the cannabis stuff. But yeah, so Pakistan was really a awesome trip. But you know, those were some of my highlights from that trip.
So you were out there shooting a documentary.
A documentary, yeah. It was about all the cannabis plants out there in the Hindu mountains, because a lot of it's untouched. Mm-hmm. It's like nobody, like they don't do anything with it.
So how'd you get that gig? Like
So from the podcast that I was doing, GW Smoke Break, you follow us on Instagram and YouTube.
Are you still doing that?
I am no longer, because my buddy who was the host, he currently moved to Humble, so he's out there now. Okay. He just bought like 18 acres of land out there.
With weed, of course.
No, actually, no. But I'm sure it wouldn't surprise me if it happens. But he is out there now, and so like it's like 5 hours away, so I hardly get to see him anymore. We do have some work that we'll do, for events and things like that. But as of right now, it's slowed down a lot more, which has been kind of nice because it allows me to get more back to my stuff and my film. So yeah, that's where we're at right now.
Is there some? Okay, tell me something about you that people don't really know about you.
People don't really know about me? Oh, geez, I don't know. I mean, I don't even know like what to begin with all that. You got to narrow it down a little bit more for me. Give me like a specific thing that I'm gonna touch on, or.
What is the first thing you do in the morning when you wake up?
Roll my ass out of bed. Yeah.
Do you make your bed?
You know what though? I do. A lot of people don't.
I do not. I do not.
Hey, I get it. It's like, why make it? You're right, gonna get back into it, and it's gonna be the same way.
But then they hit you with, well, you go to the bathroom and you have to wipe it. Yeah, but it's
it's very different.
Right.
It's very different. You know what though? So I'll say this about film, because this year I've gotten to do some new things that I've never gotten the experience of doing. When I did Midnight Bite, one of the scenes that was, and I was telling someone about this the other day, I've appreciated how well I've worked with people or with talent, because I've been wanting to do a little bit more edgy with visually with my things. And so when I did Midnight Bite, there was a scene that I shot, and when I went over it with my actor, it was really nice to get the to have that relationship with them, where that comfortability, because it goes a long way with things. So like there's a scene I was telling a friend of mine just recently about it, that I feel like as a director, I feel like I've grown from it, or it's helped, and it makes me feel good because I was able to pull certain scenes off with my crew being 100% down for it with me. And so like there's a scene in Midnight Bite where because it's a werewolf, like we have this beast turning into human form, like there's not any clothing on this animal. So my actress, she was so phenomenally comfortable with me. And even though like I was 100% respectful with her, I didn't I kept my word and my part for things. But like we shot a scene where she was topless, and like obviously we didn't see or anything. But like there's a scene where she rises out of when she's shifting back from wolf to human form, and like you hear the bones crunching, and then like and then we see her rise because we see her shadow first, the wolf, and then you see the POV of the wolf coming into the room. Into the bedroom room, and she's shifting back in human, and then we see her rise from the ground into human form, and you only see the back of her. Like you see her back, but like you see that she's topless and whatnot. But it to me it was important because it made the scene feel more real. You turning into from a beast into a human, you're not gonna have like shredded clothing or anything like that on you, but it made me feel really good as a filmmaker to feel like my crew trusted me and my actors trusted me enough to be in such vulnerable situations, because it's a very you have to be very careful with that. So I will say that I feel like it's been really rewarding as a creative to feel like I'm making it over these hurdles successfully. And so like with Demonic Toys, we had a shower scene. And like when I went over the whole audition process with my actor, I was 100% straight up right away. I was like, there's a shower scene I want to do. I have a storyboard. This is how I want to shoot things. But I just need to know that that's something you're comfortable with. Like, and it was very important. And, we went through everything, and she was 100% okay with it. She trusted me, which is what made me feel really good about what I was doing.
How'd you get your cast and crew to trust you?
You gotta just be willing to put in the work. And again, I feel like the best way for me was the amount of stuff that I was doing in as far as pre-production wise. Because I have a binder for every project that I do. Which
you showed me.
Yeah, which I have. Yeah, for the lucky ones who have seen it.
Yes, we have spent a lot of time together.
It was, that's for me. That's my job to make sure that I put in that work, so that way the people that are putting in work for me know how serious I am about it and how serious I'm taking it.
Yeah.
So like I have storyboards. I do storyboards for. Not every scene, but it's either a very specific scene that I see, or it's just to help navigate the crew to like what I'm trying to make happen, or what I want to make happen. Storyboard, having your script, broken down, knowing,
Looks like I might have to spend some quality time learning from you.
It's time consuming, and it's just it's how much time you're putting into it. But for that particular instance, I feel like that helps the crew see how serious I am about it, because they've seen I've put in that time and that work.
And you know what you're doing, because you walked into my set. We did a documentary together, and you helped, and you fucking did a great job.
Thank you. And like you just gotta take the time. You gotta understand what it falls on what I said earlier. Like when you're finding people for your stuff, you have to know people who know what it is that they're doing, and not so much like knowing the like equipment or things like that. That's not what I mean. I mean like understanding the material and what that material is asking from you.
So you would say everybody from PAs to director in your sets have read the script. Is that important?
I I think it should be important, but I will say, like, for my film Demonic Toys, not everyone read the script.
Okay.
The cast read the script. The crew, some of the main crew members read the script, but not the PAs didn't read the script. And there were people that were on my set that I didn't know that were brought on by certain other teammates that didn't know what was happening.
I mean, the light guy doesn't need to know.
But again, like, that's my point. But yeah. I think they might need to. Because they have to know what they're lighting.
Okay, sound guy doesn't necessarily need to.
True. Yes. But, like, but then they know who they're for what scene.
Fuck it, we need to make it a rule.
I think
everybody has to.
Maybe it is, But I will say, I think that comes down to having, like, your team meetings and things like that, which I will say I didn't do a lot of for Demonic Toys. I did it with the cast and whatnot, and some main crew members, but I didn't do it with the entire crew, which is something I think going forward I'm definitely going to do. It's just that it makes everyone on the same page,
right?
And because the time management is a big thing, and so everyone, I think, understanding and knowing what is happening, and what they're doing.
Twice, the start, and closer to recording day. Yes. Just it helps build the chemistry, just everything in my eyes, which is important.
No, yeah, absolutely. And again, like, that's a part of the learning. I know that now, and so it's definitely helps you plan out your future projects. Right. And and I would hope and encourage all filmmakers to not get lazy on things and do the work. It saves you in the end.
And listen to your directors.
Listen to your directors.
Because I fucked up. My last project because I didn't listen to my director and I trusted my team.
Well, you should trust your team, but trust the leader. Trust the leader. The leader is going to lead you to victory.
Well, technically,
if they're a good leader.
Technically, well, I like to work in teams, so there was a lot of leaders in this project, but yes.
There's got to be one leader.
Yeah.
One ring to rule them all.
You think so?
That's a Lord of the Rings reference, but yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
It's a lot of burden on one person.
It is, but, like,
But I think you're right. I think that was
big corporate
my biggest
things
mistake.
They have, there's got to be a ringleader. There's got to be a ringleader. And again, that's just, you gotta trust your group, or you gotta have a good enough leader to be able to be strict. For me, I kept apologizing to some people on set. I'm like, I'm not trying to be a dick, but if I'm coming off a type of way, it's because I'm in go mode. I'm in a mode that I am locked in, and, like, I need everyone to follow. I'm like, I had asked everyone at one point on set to, like, I'm like, hey, I need everything. We're coming down into this room to do this. I need everyone, if you're not doing something specific, grab things and move over here. Came down, I was getting myself, because I was in go mode. I took one 15-minute break, I think, from our 14-hour day. And it may have been less than that, but I took one break that whole day, so I was, like, tired, sweaty, but I haven't been putting in the work. And then, like, I've seen some people who are just not, who are just having fun, talking, like, hey, are you doing something? Like, I just asked everyone to do something. I need you to do something. We're on a schedule. Right. Not being a dick, but you gotta have a firm grip, and and they'll respect it. They'll know, because you want everyone to have fun, but you still gotta be on top of things. It's a business,
Right.
And so. Because otherwise if you're having too much fun, I mean, there's nothing wrong with having fun, but if you're not following your schedule, if you're not on top of things, you'll miss out and you'll lose certain opportunities. When we did Demonic Toys, our first day, we were 5 hours behind schedule because of some unfortunate circumstances, and I paid for it on the last day of filming because there are certain scenes that we needed that we didn't have time to do. And so now I'm over here trying to recreate certain locations to make that work and fill in those blanks. It's possible, it's totally doable, but it's a lot more work on my end. And so, time management, very crucial as a filmmaker. It also counts on your teammates being accountable for their portions and their parts, their roles to play. So, it's a part of that process. You don't quite really know until you've worked with people, how they handle things, how they do things, but you got to go through those hurdles in order to weave out what it is that you want.
Depending on the stakes. I mean, every project you want to succeed, but
I mean, yeah. You know, there's always something that's gonna happen. There's always something that's gonna happen. But it's how you handle things. That's the one thing that I will say that I got. A lot of crew members told me afterwards is that they felt that I handled being certain situations on set very well, which made me feel like I did a good job, even though like some things were out of my control.
Right. So this is a big question that a lot of people want to know.
Okay.
They hear a lot of shit about me, and good and bad.
Okay.
But I want to hear from you. What was it like to be on set with me? Be honest. We want to know. They want to know. The audience deserves to know what it's like to work with Garsoto Films.
I'll say this. I've heard rumors about how supposedly you could be. I didn't witness any of that though. Then again, like I felt like we had handled the project in a way that there weren't issues that would lead to frustration. Everyone did their part. Things ran smoothly. There was no need for any kind of like, emotional or anything because we handled business. So my personal experience, I thought you were a lot of fun. You opened up and were on a very emotional position, and not just you, but 3 others as well. And, understanding that material puts you in a very specific, place emotionally. And so, I'm sure if we were messing around or if we weren't running on time, you might have gotten upset. You would have, maybe said a few things, but that's understandable. That happens because that's what happens on sets, but we didn't have that situation. We didn't have that issue because we handled our business. So from my personal experience, I had a blast. I thought everyone did their part. We did what we needed to do, and I think it was great. It turned out great, and everyone left happy, which is what I would want for all my sets.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any final thoughts before we head out?
No final thoughts. Give me a follow on Instagram, guys. redfilms_official. I'm looking to meet more filmmakers. I want to grow. I want to make things happen. If you need props or certain things made and whatnot, DM me. We can come up with some stuff. I'll do what I can to help. But yeah, that's my goal this year. Is I just want to. I want to do more storytelling. I want to make my stories happen, and I want to do my best to try to make everything work out for the people that are working with me. So thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Wow, of course.
Subscribe to him and me. See you next time.
Bye, guys.